Hello, girls. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, damn it. You're now watching. Oh, there it is. Peter's live Raw recap. What's up? We up in this motherfucker. And maybe you're tuned in and maybe you're not. Maybe you join in later. It's all good. You catch it on the DVR. This is Peter's Raw recap live. And be sure to tune in each week around this time, immediately after Raw, around 11:30 or so. I guess 11:20, 11:25, and you just get my first impressions of Monday Night Raw before a conversation of an interview that I have with Jake. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast. Go check out my videos before if you haven't yet. This is a YouTube exclusive content because I'm too lazy to upload that shit to the other stuff. But if you're interested, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling and also Peter Talks SmackDown is on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Podbean. So looks like we got one viewer so far. Without further ado, man, let's get into this Raw. And this Raw is from London, right? And normally when London has their shows, it's something a little extra. But I feel that the WWE has gotten a little stale going into London. They always do the same setup. They always have the fucking that telephone thing, and they have a fucking car, that one of those English cars on the stage. I don't know. And then you get shit like Fandango because 4 fucking years ago, the song was hot over there. It's like, get over it, man. Let's do something else. And I don't know. I'm not gonna say this was a bad show. I'm gonna say this was a stale show. And of course, last week was good. Even SmackDown was good. But you can't hit home runs every time. You can't. I don't expect them to. They try, but I think it's just a matter of being stale. Not being bad, but just being stale. And they're in this purgatory before Payback to sort of just get to the pay-per-view, just like WrestleMania. It was like they hit a critical mass, and it was like, let's just hurry up and get to the fucking pay-per-view. And that's what this was tonight. Let's hurry the fuck up. Can 2 weeks get here any faster? Because we got these matches that moving forward, and let's go ahead and get them out the motherfucking way. But, it's what it is. They're in London. They try to make, chicken salad. And you get, right at the very beginning, the Ambrose Asylum. And he gets out there and he tells a Strowman joke. I don't even remember what the Strowman joke was, but nevertheless. Shane McMahon comes out. He introduced Shane McMahon. And I guess the official Ambrose Asylum show, because they did it last week with the cancellation of the highlight reel. Jericho was his first guest, but not really. I would say that Shane McMahon was his first guest. And man, I don't know what it is about that guy now, man, but his promos, he just seems shaky doing promos, man. That ring promo rust, man, is crazy. But he's just out there. He can't really get his words out. I don't know. I just feel like he's just... I don't know. I wonder if someone could talk to him. I wish it was like he could get an interview. It's like, look, dude, what's up with you and your promo skills recently, man? Like, you're rusty as hell. You need to either A, say less, or don't say anything at all. I'm happy he's out there. He's babyface, general manager or what have you. He says what the people want to hear, and so on and so forth. But man, I can't get through a segment. I don't want to go through segments of Shane McMahon stumbling over his words. But it turns into the interview. The interview itself is like, well, what is your agenda? What you want to do here? And he gives the babyface, people with talent getting, the opportunity, blah, 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 blah. And then Owens shows up. And Owens is like, nah, There's no big changes. It's the same old crap. You're just another McMahon, power hungry, and you're doing any and everything to bury me. And he's like, what are you talking about? He said, well, why did you kick me out last week? He said, well, because you threatened another wrestler. And that wasn't cool, so you had to fucking go. And then Zayn shows up, and before Shane shows up, all these things going on around me. He shoots on Zayn. You know, he basically talking shit about Zayn and how he didn't deserve to be anywhere near the heavyweight championship picture. And then Zayn comes out and he's talking shit, and then Jericho comes out, he's talking shit, and what ends up happening is Shane sets the payback matches, being that Jericho will face Ambrose. It's official. Jericho will face Owens at Payback, and Jericho will face Ambrose, and Owens will face Sami Zayn at Payback. So it's like, all right, we're all out here. We're gonna here are the matches for Payback, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out the ring because shit's gonna go down. And that's what happens when he leaves. Ambrose incites the brawl, and then the baby faces stand tall. But that leads into the first match, which is like you still look at it as like a dream match between Jericho and Sami Zayn. But before we get to the match, we get like this really weird commercial dealing with Roman Reigns. And it's almost like, it's basically calling out the haters. This is going to be the movement moving. This is going to be the campaign moving forward with Roman Reigns, and how WWE is they're apologists for this guy, and rather than make the proper changes, this is going to run with them. And yes, their business to do what the fuck they want. We're just wrestling fans. We tune in. We're going to tune in every week regardless, and just be extremely cynical. But I think commercials like that aren't really necessary. Whether you like it or not, I know the truth and I'm the best or some shit like that. It was just like, it's really uncalled for. What are you trying to do? Are you seriously trying to make us hate him even more? Then don't fucking, flatter yourself with these types of commercials and campaigns and what have you. It's so stupid. It's stupid as fuck. Let me see what we got here. I don't understand what the phone booth means to London. What's up, Ronnie? Yes. It's just a phone booth that are around London. It's like if you go to London, you're sure to see those little red booths. It's like it's just one of those images that you don't see anywhere else but London. So it's just a kind of a trademark, and the WWE is like, yeah, we're going to London. We're going to just put these phone booths out here. We're also going to put that like black car out there. It's like, come on, man. Can't do that every time. They just do it every fucking time. It's crazy. Well, anyway, the match itself was very, very decent. But it ends with a thumb to the eye by Jericho in heel form, and he hits the fucking code breaker, defeating Sami Zayn. So he has AJ Styles under his belt. He has Sami Zayn under his belt. And the biggest, and I'm on record to say this, and he's on record saying this as well. Anybody that talks about how Jericho gets over the younger talent, like, no, man. This guy isn't trying to get over the younger talent, and it's not a matter of getting talent over or not. It's just that he's in a position to help whether he goes over or not. Right? But if anyone's bitching and crying and moaning about his victories over Neville, his victories over AJ Styles, his victory over Sami Zayn, you just have to look at it for what it is. The storyline has Jericho winning. And I would hate to see the same people who are patting Jericho on the back to get the young talent over are now like, man, why is he burying the young talent? I wish I could answer the question, but I just already know that Jericho himself has said that if he could win any and every match, he could. You know, if he can win every match, he would. So that's the result there. It still gets Jericho over as like a one of the better heels on the roster. In the back, you have Ronaldo doing the duties backstage, and he invites AJ, which results in a reunion of the Bullet Club. In steps Gallows and Carl Anderson, and they just basically like they shoot the shit for a little hot second, right? And I'm gonna say this, and this is I'm on record from Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. Why to use the word damn shirt? What's up? What's up, Keita? I like the Jericho look. I like it. I think the more that you hate it, the more I like it. So so what I was about to say. So yeah, I wanted to make this point, man. And I made this point for Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. And Jake was sour grapes about it. And I go, look, guys, if you're fans of the WWE, you should know better. That, okay, you got this Bullet Club thing, right? But Bullet Club, its existence, its storyline, its base is from New Japan. You know, that promotion that Michael Cole said. And when it comes to the WWE, regardless of however you like whatever that's showing up, whether it's someone's gimmick or someone's storyline, they don't do other people's storylines. They don't do other people's business. They don't do other people's gimmicks. They're take pieces of it and then they're created into their own. Okay, so I'm just going to go and check out Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling episode 87, and I mentioned this. It's like WWE can give a flying fuck about the Bullet Club already set in place storyline. They don't care. They're going to take it and they're going to do what they want to with it. So ain't everybody expecting this thing to happen and then even get Finn Balor? You're in for a rude awakening because it's not going to happen in the way that you think it should. It's just not. If it does, you know, I'll eat my words, but I watch the show. I know how this goes. So it was great to see the three of them there. They're all three have made it to the main roster of the WWE. Kudos. But this is WWE's storyline right now. And we even find out later how that shit even goes down. So just prepare yourself to not necessarily be disappointed, but if you have all these expectations, you're going to be disappointed. Just see how they work it and don't go into speculation of to how the Bullet Club should be ran. The Bullet Club, or whatever the fuck is going to be, is going to be ran the way that the WWE wants it to be ran. So next up, we get Big Cass and Enzo Amore against the Dudley Boyz, and this is the semifinal to the tag team tournament to become the number one contenders to the New Day for the tag team belts. Not much to this. It's just Enzo and Kaz win, and they become the first finalist to the number one contender for the belt against the New Day. And I think I had them in my predictions. I'm pretty sure I had them in my predictions last week that they would be in the final. And yeah, I guess there's no more use really for the Dudley Boyz. I think a lot of people were pretty excited to see Bully Ray become more, Bully Ray from TNA, but they're being booked as losers right now, and they're also being used as a means to get over the young talent. And I think that's just the way it goes right here. And to see them kind of get taken out was kind of sad. It was kind of bittersweet to see, I think they've maxed the Dudley Boyz. But it's good to see Kaz and Enzo, something new, something refreshing. They're mad over, baby. You can't teach that. You can't. They're going to be big stars for as long as the WWE keeps them together, obviously. Let me see what you got here. Ronnie, yes, they took the NWO gimmick straight from the WCW in '92 and hauled it. Yeah, but they didn't. But they didn't do what the WCW did with them. Because here's the difference between WCW and WWE and what they were doing with the talent at WCW. Hogan, Nash, Hall, all those guys had creative clauses, complete creative control. Complete creative control in their contracts of their gimmicks and their storylines. Complete control. Like, they had creative in the back. Write a script, hand it to those guys, and be like, "How do you accept, sir?" And they'd be like, "Hell no, this shit sucks. I'm doing this my way." So that in itself, the NWO came, like a year later after the failed Invasion storyline. They weren't the same that they used to, but then they became like kind of, what's the word I want to use? Because they no longer have control over their gimmick. They no longer had control over their storylines or their destiny. As all that they know, they're in the doghouse as the NWO. They trot them out there when they first debut, and they're like, "Oh, we just want to be on your side, guys." Yeah, in the NWO and WCW, they were tearing shit up. They came here and was terrorized by Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're getting their ass whooped and embarrassed by The Rock. I mean, it was really like they completely took the NWO and shoved it straight up Ted Turner's ass. So I see what you're saying, that they took it on, but just like the Bullet Club, they're going to do what the fuck they want to with that storyline. So yeah, Kaz and Enzo, finalists. And that was a good opening hour. A great opening hour. And then the next thing you know, it takes not a nosedive, but it slants down the hill to where it's like, all right. And I'll be honest, guys, during this entire episode of Raw, I was filing my taxes. I finally filed my taxes the day of. I was trying to beat the clock, so I was kind of checking it out, but at the same time, I was doing my taxes. And it was a good thing because, yeah, moving forward, it wasn't really much of a show after that. And they're in a position to create new stars. You're not going to right off the bat, okay, Kaz and Enzo come down and you can't teach that everyone's happy. You get, Sami Zayn in there, who's getting booked like a chump, by the way. I ain't even mentioned that. Oh, man, this guy's momentum. This guy is going to be a complete failure. Unless something dramatic happens. They're booking him as a fucking joke, man. A fucking joke. But outside the fact that he lost to Jericho, he lost to AJ Styles too. He lost to Nakamura. He's just a losing fool, man. He's a losing fool. But yeah, this second hour starts off with Roman Reigns, and he's coming down the ramp now, and I got to get adjusted to him walking on that ramp. And they're going with the whole Roman Empire, Titron, and all that stuff. So it seems almost as if the Bullet Club is not greater than the Roman Empire. For them to put the Roman Empire up and not Roman Reigns, it's foreshadowing to something. And to say that, who's to say that the Bullet Club actually, they go to Roman Reigns? Who's to say Gallows and Carl Anderson goes to AJ Styles or even Finn Balor? Who says? Again, they can do what they want. And, we can get down to the nitty gritty. I could go, yeah, the boot, the heat that Roman Reigns has, the fact that he said, I'm the guy again and all that crap, boring chants, shoots on AJ. AJ comes out, they go back and forth, and it's like, your line, my line, your line, my line, your line, my line. While the fucking London crowd is like doing any and everything possible because both of those guys, AJ Styles is not a good promo. He's never been. He ain't. He'll never be. But he's talking a lot. He's getting better. Roman Reigns is just like, he's just so scripted. He's so goddamn scripted that he's just phony, So you got this guy who struggles on giving you decent promos, and then you got this phony scripted motherfucker over here. And then it's bad enough for them to remember their lines and try to deliver them. And then you got these motherfucking British people like doing any and everything possible to distract them. It was something impressive. I was like, oh my God, this is dead in the water. And if I was fucking Vince or whoever the fuck, Kevin Dunn, I'd have been like, yo, let's cut this shit as fast as possible. There's no way. No one's saving face here. No one's looking good. No one's looking good. And even the way it ended, it was just like the promo part where he's just like, yes, I want your belt. And he just backs up, right? I was just like, man, that was painful. But then Gallows and Anderson shows up, and they beat the living shit out of Roman Reigns, and they shoot AJ Styles, and he does not look happy about it whatsoever. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Here's what I'm talking about, fellas. The fact that they're going to take this storyline and they're going to make it completely something else. When AJ Styles was in New Japan, and Carl and Doc came in as the enforcers, he was pretty happy about it. So you got a whole new dimension that's happening right now where it's like this, he's like, man, why you guys attack him? Step one. That's step one to the owning of the Bullet Club. And then you see Roman Reigns sort of reeling from the effects of the beatdown. AJ Styles comes up, is like, yo, because I think Ronaldo's back there. He's doing duty. He's fucking Renee Young. He's not fucking Renee Young. He is Renee Young in London this week. But he walks up to Reigns. He's like, yo, what's up with that beatdown? And then AJ Styles is like, dude, I had nothing to do with that, all right? And then Roman Reigns is like, dude, the fuck ever. They fucked up the Usos last week, my cousins. Now they fuck up me. How the hell can you say you know nothing about this, so you're no part of this? I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. And that's just the thing. And it's like, all right, here's this weird storyline going on. Is AJ behind the attack of Roman Reigns? Is he not? Are Gallows and Anderson working on their own? They're doing this on their own. Did they do it for The Rock? Yes, step two. Fandango, because he has to be in your... Fucking 4 years ago, his song was over, right? 3 years ago. You don't have to trot him out every time. I think England is over Fandango, okay? So, along with those goddamn telephone booths and that goddamn card on stage, how about you just leave the fuck Fandango alone too, right? Just leave it be, all right? You don't got to trot him out there. I would much rather see fucking Darren Young or something. You know what I'm saying? Just to have another jobber out there to take the fall for this upcoming match. Fandango versus Baron Corbin. Ziggler's on commentary. This is a squash match. Corbin flings Fandango into Ziggler. Ziggler lays out pretty like he's dead. And then the end of days to Fandango when he gets him back in there. And that's it. Baron Corbin wins again. And again, another NXT call-up, doing really well for himself. And Ziggler tries to get payback for having Fandango nutsack all in his face. And he just catches an end of days on the outside of the ring. So, again, they're trying to get him over as a babyface. I see it. Corbin probably end up losing at Payback, I guess. I doubt it. I guess we'll find out when I do my predictions. But to have Corbin anywhere near Ziggler is like, it's just not a good look. Just not a good look. Not a good look. And it sucks that Neville isn't well, because he would have been a great babyface against Corbin, unlike Ziggler. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward with that. But Titus O'Neil, again, he's back. I think they're kind of trolling us with him, and it's the commercial from last week, and then even this week, because he's in this commercial. It's like a truth commercial. It's like Nat and Natalia talking about like how he finishes. It was creepy. That's really weird. I don't want to say anything else about this because I don't think it did anybody any justice. It's just the fact that like we're getting trolled with like awkward Titus O'Neil commercials after he just served his fucking detention, and now he's back, and oh well. But guys, if you're listening, feel free to ask me a question. All right, because I'm running through this and I'm gonna be done with this in maybe like 15 minutes. So we get to Miz TV. This sucked. I can't say much about this. This stunk. And I hate Maurice. I hate her French accent. And I'm on, if you go back and listen to Peter Talk SmackDown, one of my pet peeves is Maurice. When she speaks French, even though she's French Canadian, she speaks French as if she didn't grow up in a French-speaking household. It's almost like she kind of knows French and she's talking it as if she's an American, and it's just so bad. It's not even like heel bad. It's just like annoying bad. Like, come on, man. And her voice. She doesn't have much of a belly. Like, she doesn't have much like gut like talking. She doesn't talk from her gut. She talks from her neck. So not only does she speak this bad French, this bad Canadian French, she has no pipes to even make whatever she has to say sound at least somewhat decent, I guess. I don't know. What we got here? What happened to Neville? Oh, yeah. Neville got injured in a match. I forgot who he was in a match with, but he did a move where he sort of slid under the person, like backwards, and he turned his ankle real bad. He turned his ankle extremely bad. And that was like 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So he's been out nursing that. I think he tore some ligaments or something in it. Or maybe there was like a MCL tear or something. Achilles, something went wrong. But like, yeah, he's on the shelf for quite some time. But just to get through this fucking segment, they diss the baby. They diss the royal baby. Like, come on. Bad creative. And then they proceed, they diss the baby, and then they proceed to make out. And then Cesaro comes out, and, the language barrier, and this segment was horrible. Cesaro wanted to fight Miz at that point. I have nothing to say about this. He wanted to fight Miz, and then the Miz is like, yeah, we're going to fight, but you're going against Rusev, right? So the League of Jobbers come down, and they're back to the League of Jobbers. They come down, and this is Cesaro's like, look, I knew some bullshit like this was going to go down, so I actually talked to Shane McMahon, and he said that this is going to be a 8-man tag, and I will be joined by, and he takes off his shit, and he's wearing a New Day shirts, and motherfucking place blew up. You hear, oh, la dad! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your 2-time champs. Yeah, and feel the power. Well, anyway, super over. Again, I'm not into the jigaboo day. I can't. Not gonna be able to do it. Again, I used to be a fan. They went from the New Day to the Jigaboo Day. All right, so You can have your bootios, you can have your fucking unicorns, and you can have your goddamn rainbows. You can have all that shit. That is not for me. All right, that ain't for me. And it becomes there's not much to it. There's a spot where Big E just looks like a fucking champion, and then the neutralizer is applied to the Miz, I guess, and the baby faces win. I got nothing really to say about this. Nothing. It was just a match, and it was a good thing Cesaro got the victory. He hit the neutralizer. They're really, preparing him to go up against the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. So if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. So Ronaldo's in the back with Flair, talks about last week's match and how she tapped out, and then Natty shows up and she's like, "Well, thanks to Shane O'Mac, good stuff. He's not in the shots. It's just like everyone's referring back to him as someone who's fair. Thanks to Shane O'Mac, I get a rematch at Payback for the belt." And I was only hoping, because Charlotte made a comment like, "Well, it's going to be the same result every time." And I was thinking it was going to be something where it's like, well, even if you get a DQ, the belt changes hands, right? I really, because that was something I was pointing at. Because you go back to WrestleMania, Ric Flair holding, that's legal because of the triple threat. It's kind of like no holds barred, so people can actually get involved and there are no disqualifications. But still, what happened last week and, her tapping out, and as a result of Ric Flair pulling out the ref, it became a DQ. I thought then, yeah, you got yourself a stipulation where it's like, well, you can't, if you get disqualified, and then you got the whole thing with Dr. Phil and like, why are you cheating? Like they could have played that up into the storyline where it's like, and maybe they'll do it next week. Maybe I'm just saying, like I thought they were gonna lay it out here when she made the comments, like it's all gonna be the same shit. But like, yeah, if you get disqualified, the belt changes hands, right? But they didn't do that. Rather than that, Natty was like, well, Bret Hart is gonna be in my corner, which got a huge pop. I'm glad he's doing well, and I'm glad that he's going to be able to show up because he hasn't been doing too well with the whole, I think it was like colon cancer or shit like that. But like, it's going to be good to see Bret, and I think that he's going to get a big ass pop at Payback when he shows up. When he's like, yeah, just fucking comes out. I hope he gives somebody some shades too. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Before I get to this next segment, let's see what we got here. Ronnie, yes, that's exactly how Rosa speaks Spanish. Yeah, her Spanish sucks too. Yeah, it was Neville versus Y2J. Yep. Yeah, Kita. Yeah, she remembers that match. Yeah, that was sad because it was a really bad roll up, and it was like, and there was a fallout after that because Lil Nate Robinson, he didn't see the injury, and I think there was interaction between Neville and Jericho. It was like, yo, you all right? And Robinson was completely clueless. So it was like this thing. I forgot what happens, but he pushes Nate and he starts arguing. He's like, he's hurt. I'm surprised you don't remember that. He's like, he's hurt. And he starts yelling at Nate, and Nate's like, don't put your fucking hands on me. And like, he was like, fucking, he didn't, I'm not saying this to like play it up, but he was like, don't fucking touch me. And it ended up being like something like a DQ or what have you to play it off. But it was like a memorable moment. Kind of hard to believe you forgot about that, Ronnie. So, as I predicted, there's a Total Bellas. I was like, all right, looks like they're going to get a Bella spinoff show. And that's what we got. We got Total Bellas with Total Divas. They were the star power of Total Divas. Baby Total Divas is out the window. It's going to be tough to follow up without your main characters, your John Cena, your Daniel Bryan, your Nikki and Brie Bella. They were the They were the meat and potatoes of that show. So we'll see what happens. Maybe there's gonna be a slow death to the Total Divas brand, and even the Divas just get away from the Divas name altogether, being that the belt is now women's belt. Yeah, so it's been real. Total Divas and the Divas existence in any and all that is WWE. And then we get an 8-women tag that was just such a waste of fucking time. The only thing out of this that was worth a damn was the fact that Charlotte taps to Natty's sharpshooter. This is, let's get to the payback. Let's get the payback, y'all. We get the Vaudevillains versus the Usos. The Usos are still kind of fucked up from the beatdown, and then I think they attack the shoulder of Jimmy Uso, and which results in another prediction I got right. I'm getting good at these fucking predictions, y'all. From Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. God damn it. I predicted that the Vaudevillains would actually make it to the finals against Enzo and Cass. But nevertheless, yeah, I guess a Vaudevillains versus New Day gimmick title match is what they're shooting for. We'll see. I mean, it would be too soon to put any kind of belt on Cass and Enzo, and I really hope that going to this final, that the Vaudevillains cheat like hell to win. That's all. I hope they cheat like hell to win. I really hope so. So it makes it at least relevant of a reason why Kaz and Enzo don't just waltz into becoming the tag team champions, because boom, they're so over, and they're not going to go up against a babyface New Day. They're just not going to. So it's going to be the Vaudevillains and Payback versus the New Day. You'll see. What we got here? Oh. So we get an Apollo Crews spotlight. And then, this is the Apollo Crews spot of the night. It seems like right there, right before the main event, which used to be the Divas bathroom spot, we get Apollo Crews. And he's been running a storyline, which is pretty decent. I mean, I wouldn't say a storyline, but he's been going up against the social outcast. He defeated Axl Rose. I mean, he defeated Curtis Axel. He defeated Adam Rose, and he faces Heath Slater here. But here's the storyline before, and I think the social outcasts have just kind of been bothering. I guess the whole thing is that the outcasts have been bothering Owens, and this time they bother him because, as we all know, Adam Rose, he's out for 60 days. Because of the wellness policy. Got to stay away from that weed. And, they kind of jokingly bring up that they're short a social outcast member. And this is maybe pre-show, Raw pre-show, that they wanted Apollo Crews to replace Adam Rose. Whew, talk about, I bet a lot of hearts exploding to the idea of Apollo Crews joining the social outcast. But he was like, yeah, I'll join your fucking crew, but you have to beat me. Slater loses. Apollo Crews wins. I hope they don't ruin this kid. Because even after he wins, and then that whole storyline of him possibly joining has been dropped, before he could even exit the fucking up the ramp, Kevin Owens' music hits. And I was just like, dude. Not only do you put him in the bathroom slot, then you got this kind of disrespect happening. It's like, not a good thing. Just keep your eye on Sami Zayn and keep your eye on Apollo Crews. I feel like they're going to ruin both of those fucks. And Owens screams $1 million more than Sami Zayn, He's a Vince guy. He's 6'2". He's this big, big dude. I mean, the only thing he got going for him is the fact that he's a brother. So it's going to suck for him to actually make a dent and be a presence in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, because it's just one of those things that just doesn't happen. But he's young, and there's a lot of potential. But they brought him up to the main roster, and I don't know if they did it too soon or not. I mean, I want to root the guy on. I'm really happy for him, but maybe, just maybe, they brought him up ill prepared, and not necessarily him being as ill prepared as, say, the people around him, the announcers, the talent that they're going to book counter him. I just think that he's kind of being set up to fail. And I hope that's not the case. Very much like Sami Zayn. And then we get to the main event. One word. Boring. I get it. Ambrose versus Owens. It seems like a good match. But the only thing that sucks, and this is something I've always been and Keita, you know I've been complaining about this forever. The fact that Ambrose doesn't let anybody get any real heat on him. Nothing. I'm going to punch you. I'm Kevin Owens. You're fucking Dean Ambrose. I'm going to hit you 3 times, and you're going to return with 5 hits. You're going to get your shit in. That's what they like to call it in the wrestling business. The boys, what the boys you say. He just gets his shit in. So as much as Kevin Owens should just be beating him down and beating him down and beating him down and beating him down so he can finally get the babyface return, Hulk up, run wild, and get the victory, no. It's 50-50. So I'm sitting back going, I'm not invested into this. I got my pad, and I'm just doing my taxes. I'm just finishing up my taxes. Because this shit sucked. It was so boring, and it went like 16 minutes, and it's like it should have only lasted like 6 minutes. Hell, it should have only lasted 6 seconds. Actually, it should have never ever been on the card. Should have never been on the card. I would have actually been better. I would have been better off watching the follow-up to Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles with Roman Reigns in the ring. Or something, man. Just something else. Because this shit was stupid. That was so boring. I can't believe. And on top of that, Kevin Owens loses again. He gets his ass handed to him last week by AJ Styles, and I understand that. That's what's up. But then he gets his ass handed to him by Ambrose. This guy's supposed to be one of your top heels. And he's losing on free television like it ain't no thing. He was just an Intercontinental Champion. And you got him jobbing out for everyone else's fucking storyline. He's like the new Curtis Axel in this motherfucker. Because he's like in 20 different feuds. And then he's in between everyone's fucking storyline. It's kind of crazy. He should be focusing on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's getting his ass handed to him. Owens is getting his ass handed to him. So, like, going into Payback, these are 2 fucking losers facing each other. 2 fucking losers. Sami Zayn's losing to everybody. Kevin Owens just had his 2nd straight loss in a week. Clean, too. Clean as a motherfucker. No one cheated. No one did nothing. There was no interference. Nothing. He fucking loses. So, going into Payback, why the fuck do I care about Sami Zayn and Owens? They're 2 fucking losers. Two losers. They're supposed to be like big stars, and they're packaged just jobbers. So as much as I want their story to be told in the eyes of the WWE, it should have been just the 2 of them for the IC belt on WrestleMania. We finally get them going into a match with each other on Payback. Great job, but they're losers. I don't want to watch those losers. What am I to get out of it? What am I to get out of? What is the payoff to the match? You've blown everything. You fucked up WrestleMania, and then you're fucking up their booking. So I don't care about this match. I don't anymore. I mean, a little bit, but not to the magnitude where it was. Where I was so excited to see, Kevin Steen and El Generico finally play out their destiny at WrestleMania. WWE, man, they will fuck. Hey, they need a new slogan. It's like WWE will fuck up your storyline. God Almighty. And after Ambrose beats Owens, Jericho runs into the ring and gives Ambrose a code breaker, and Jericho stands over a dead Ambrose who's reeling from that code breaker, and it's like, all right, the number one heel in the company right now, I mean outside of Roman Reigns, is Chris Jericho. He's been given the wins. He's been, other than say losing the day after WrestleMania, but he's been booked really well, and some of his best fucking work as a heel is pretty amazing. But yeah, he is your top heel going against Ambrose, who's not your number one babyface, but and I'll say this one thing, last thing, because that brings up something. Right now, Jericho is your number one heel. That's it. Like if you're looking at the whole championship picture, they're trying to make heels out of Gallows and Anderson, right? But your number one heel is Jericho. But Jericho isn't in the championship picture. He's going up against Ambrose, a guy who is babyface and boring. Jericho versus Ambrose, again, it's fun, but it doesn't accomplish anything. So why do you have your number one heel right now? Like, I'm trying to think of who else could be even close to the number one heel. Because AJ Styles is not a heel. He's in the title picture, though. It's babyface versus babyface. And you got Jericho fucking with Ambrose. Jericho should be fucking with Roman Reigns. That should be booked. So the frustration, man. And maybe they're gonna save it for something later, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem that way with Jericho. It seems like after Ambrose, he's just gonna ride off into the sunset. And it's a shame because I feel like they could have got some real money some real mileage out of him going after Roman Reigns and possibly turning Reigns. I mean, well, not necessarily not turning him, but like him turning a new leaf. People will actually boo Jericho. I still think it's a good idea to put the Miz in there. I still think Miz versus Roman Reigns is something that could actually help him. But who am I? I ain't Dr. Phil. I ain't no motherfucking surgeon to fix Roman Reigns. I give a fuck about that guy. I tell you who I give a fuck about. I give a fuck about this last comment or question. Coming from Ronnie S. Yes, Chris Jericho is having a resurgence. Yep. If you looked in the dictionary for resurgence, there's a picture of Chris Jericho. He's out there kicking ass, and again, he's beating the young talent. Everyone's talking about how he puts over the young talent. He's always put over the young talent. He has. But I guess all the fucking jobs that he's done to like Fandango and to CM Punk and all those motherfuckers, he's cashing in his check. He's cashing in all his chips to fucking beat these guys. Your Neville, your AJ Styles, your Sami Zayns. He's like, I'll take those. You can have those Fandango wins. You can have that CM Punk. You can have that CM Punk loss. You can have that Fandango loss at WrestleMania. Just give me my win over WrestleMania over AJ Styles, Mr. TNA, and also let me get my win over Jericho, over Generico, but Sami Zayn. It's pretty funny shit. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night on this motherfucker. I got my taxes filed. I got to talk to my friends. Got to watch some decent enough wrestling. Now I need a beer. I'm going to go get a beer because I got to work tomorrow and fuck it. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm able to get my beer. Hit the subscription button below again every week. Peter's Raw Recap. every Monday after Raw. Peter and Jake talks wrestling this Wednesday. Yep, I think this is episode 88. And then Peter talks SmackDown. That's going to be on either Sunday or Saturday. Keita, if you're still listening right now, I would say let's somehow at some point schedule next week a Peter Talks Wrestling with, and let's catch up with what you're doing with Keita and Jay show, which I'm listening to. I'm loving. Like I'm a weekly fan. I'm definitely got to that point where I'm a weekly fan. And anyone who's listening to this, be sure to check out Keita and Jay. She's on iTunes. She's on Stitcher. She's on SoundCloud. She's on a couple of other things too, Mixler. But it's an amazing podcast. The conversations that her and Jay have, and then when they can get what's his name, DJ TB, or what, I can't think of his name right now. I apologize that I butchered his name, but great conversation, funny conversation. Definitely worth your time to check out. So the Keita and Jay show. I think Keita and Jay talks NXT, a couple of other things. But we need to get up soon, girl, and have a talk. And I definitely need to get at Jay so we can get a one-on-one as well. And again, you're so welcome for the shirts. Thank you for wanting them. Send me a pic when you can, and that goes to Jay too. So if you talk to Jake, if you talk to Jay. No, Jay already sent me a picture, but it was like a little bit. I actually used it in one of my collages, but I want tell him I want a full on like Eva Mania shot. All right. So what we got? Ah, hell yeah. So yeah, shout out. Oh man, that sucks. So yeah, shouts to the homegirl Keita, and hit the subscription button, thumbs up, thumbs down. Check out the other videos. Leave a comment. PJTW Central on Twitter, or Ellen Japanese, LINJAPANESC, and share. Get these if you like this, you got some wrestling friends that would probably like not maybe this, but other content from PJTW Central, please just share it. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, your Snapchat, all that shit. Just share it. Share it. Greatly appreciate it. And what we got here? All right. So, shout out to Ronnie S. Shout out to Keita Hubbard. Again, go check out Keita and Jay, the Keita and Jay show. That's KEDAN, not IN, but NJ, Keita NJ. And I'll see you Wednesday for Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. And watch out for those foreign objects. Peace.